You're watching BattleCast Primetime on Command & Conquer TV. APOC breaks out of his corner and invades Leipzig, Germany. Find out what happens behind closed doors at the massive games convention. Buy. It's time to sell gold and stock up on Tiberium. Hear why the green crystals become even more sacred in patch 1.09. Plus, what happened in the 16 years between Firestorm and CNC3? KANES Wrath designer Sam Bass has all the answers. And was your match good enough to make the BattleCast 5? BattleCast Primetime starts now. You're logged in to BattleCast Primetime. He's Raj Joshi. I'm David Silverman.
BattleCast Primetime is your official home for exclusive celebrity interviews, official CNC news, and the greatest fan matches on the web.
Before we get things going, we wanted to thank everyone who watched last month's debut episode.
The response was overwhelmingly positive. Your posts were great, and we welcome your suggestions to make the show better, as long as it doesn't include shaving my head, or anything else.
Well, your hair last episode did draw some attention. However, there was one repeated request we immediately took to heart: more BattleCast action. We heard your cries for conflict, so starting this episode, we'll feature highlights from the top 5 matches for a new segment we call the BattleCast 5.
This means up to 10 players who BattleCast their match will be highlighted on each show. And from out of these competitors, we select 2 commanders to face off for our feature match.
These 2 play a new series of 5 matches, from which we'll choose the most exciting matches to show, guaranteeing you the best game action possible.
Plus, our feature BattleCast match will also be available in its entirety at www.commandandconquer.com.
So without further delay, let's plunge into our first sampling of the 5. Net puts GDI versus Carrod's Nod on Tournament Arena. Net put races down the tech tree for Orcas, but Carrod one-ups him with a shadow team. It's rockets against lasers for 22 minutes of non-stop carnage, with almost 400 units in play. But it's not just Scorpion spam with Carrod. His Catalyst missiles and EMP-enabled Raider buggies help him pull off the W.
4.
On Tournament Arena, it's a screen mirror between Kaifire and the Atreides. The Atreides drops a foundry, then moves his drone platform south, harvesting all 3 tip fields right out of the gate. Kaifire, losing the money game, sends in the Mastermind. He grabs a refinery just long enough to throw down a signal transmitter and call a mothership. The Atreides counters with the stasis field, buying him time to mount a defense and finish off the mothership. 20 minutes into the match, and it's game over for Kaifire. Wait, no, what's that in the sky? A bird? A plane? No, it's another mothership. The Atreides failed to take out the signal transmitter. Devastation! With just 1 refinery left, Kaifire gets the win.
3.
Over to Tournament Dust Bowl. Arctic Scrin face off against Liang Hu's GDI. 9 minutes in, and Liang Hu is dominating, with a base creep covering 3 of the 4 Tiberium fields. It doesn't look good for Arctic, but he's not getting cold yet. He's got Plan B. A second drone platform at the last open Tiberium field, plus an army of tripods, PACs, and Devastators. Liang Hu's sonic emitters do some huge damage, but they're not enough for Arctic's army of assimilators. Once the tripods march in, it's all Arctic. How do you say come back in Skrinish?
2.
Back to Tournament Arena. It's Dackle against Yama in an explosive Nod face-off. Both drop a crane, then pack up their conyards and head to each other's base. Dackle's a new sheriff in Yama's town. He sells his conyard for a free engineer and grabs the crane. Thank you! While Yama drops a war factory and sends in the flame tanks. Yama rushes with rocket squads, but Dackle wipes them out with the phase field. Yama uses his own phase field on some flame tanks while they both amass a huge Scorpion army. The final push. Dackle kicks it off with a Catalyst missile, taking out 3 refineries, and the Scorpions face off. Lasers light up the sky. Yama calls in a mine drop as a last-ditch effort, but it's not enough. Dackle overpowers him.
1.
We've saved the best for last. Dawis's Nod versus Daedalus' Scrin on Small Town, USA. An early Scorpion spam makes a beeline for Daedalus' extractors, but Daedalus says, I don't think so, with a stasis field and 3 photon cannons. Unfazed, Dawis's Nod follows up with a devastating Catalyst missile, but he can't seal the deal. Daedalus sends a Mastermind to Dawis's expansion, using his phase field to bolster his Mastermind's armor. It's almost enough to take out a refinery, but not quite. 13 minutes in and things are looking pretty grim for Daedalus, but wait, what's this? Another mastermind in the North Expansion base, and this time he signs the dotted line, cashes the check, breaks out the champagne. Daedalus sells the tech lab for 2,000 credits and drops a signal transmitter. That's right, it's ET phone home as the mothership materializes, and look at that catalyst cannon go. Daedalus sends all the anti-air he's got, but the mothership fires again. Daedalus wipes out every structure in one fell swoop except, one rogue Kanyard. Ooh, that's gotta hurt. Daedalus mounts a last stand while his mothership makes a beeline for the Kanyard. I think I can. Oh, it's not enough. Daedalus takes it. What a heartbreaker. Just for you, Raj. Let's see that catalyst cannon again. All those hard-earned structures gone in a single blow. That'll teach you to base creep. And there's your BattleCast 5 for this month.
The 5, brought to you by Medal of Honor Airborne. Heroes jump, enemies fall. Available now on the PC and Xbox 360.
Whoa, that last one was something special. What a great first BattleCast 5. So which two commanders move on to the feature match?
Well, you'll have to stay tuned to find out, like everyone else.
Yeah, right. No, really, who?
When we return, APOC live and on the loose in Leipzig. Plus, we go behind closed doors for exclusive news on the CNC expansion pack and an eye-opening interview with CNC3 designer Sam Bass.
You're not going to tell me, are you?
When BattleCast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV. It's a celebrated center of commerce, a European capital of culture, a Deutsche dreamland nestled near the confluence of the Pleiße, Parthe, and Weisse Elster rivers.
Ah yes, Leipzig, Germany, nicknamed Little Paris. Leipzig has been home to celebrated historical figures like Bach, Nietzsche, Mendelssohn, Wagner, Lindemann.
Lindemann?
Yeah, Till Lindemann, lead vocalist of the German heavy metal rock band Rammstein. Dude, they are awesome.
I'll stick with Survivor. And now Leipzig can add another notch in its belt of celebrity, as home to one of the biggest game conventions in the world, known aptly as the Games Convention. For more on this event that over 185,000 people witnessed, let's now turn to APOC's Corner.
Welcome back, Commanders and Commandettes. I am APOC, your official Command & Conquer community manager, blowing up and healing our community one step at a time. And speaking of blowing up, we're celebrating the 12th anniversary of Command & Conquer, which was first released, can you believe it, a dozen years ago on August 31st, 1995. 12 years of Tiberium, 12 years of Red Alert, 12 years of Kane, 12 years of one massive fan community, and over 25 million worldwide copies in your hands. Command & Conquer has stood the test of time and become a classic legacy amongst video games' most enduring and successful franchises. I am truly honored to have been your community manager for over 2.5 years of that legacy thus far, and I really appreciate your support and friendship. I'd also like to take a moment now to recognize our longest running fan site, www.cncden.com, commanded by our friendly community leader, Lion, since 1997. As one of our most loyal and respected community leaders, we are awarding you the first ever CNC Community Legacy Achievement Award. Congratulations, Lion. We'll be in touch soon. So now let's get down to business. The first official season for the Command & Conquer League has finally started for our competitive multiplayer 1v1 ladder. The season will go on for 3 months with multiple qualification days for the final championship tournament. The top commander at the end of the season will receive a nice Tiberium colored check for $5,000. We also have more cash prizes and goodies sponsored by our friends at Logitech to give away an award to the runner-ups and other lucky players on our ladder. To enter the ladder season, all you need to do is log online to CNC3, play a ranked match on our 1v1 ladder, win, don't cheat or disconnect if you lose, and most of all, keep playing. The more games you play, the better chance you have to move up the ladder and qualify for the season-ending tournament. For more info, head over to our new CNC3 League section on our official site at commandandconquer.com. The Mod SDK has now been officially released, and if you haven't heard, we've already released an updated version which addresses various technical improvements and more information and art assets so you can really maximize your mods. CNC mods on the horizon and already making our highlight reel include a huge dose of nostalgia with Tiberian Sun Rising, a mod which aims to recreate Tiberian Sun for CNC 3, and Red Alert Revolution, a reimagination of Red Alert 1 and 2. Hit up the video section of cncnz.com and check out Tiberium Legos, and be sure to head over to our official site where I spoke to the mysterious hypnotist about the series. And last but definitely not least, we recently spent a week at the awesome games convention in Leipzig, Germany to meet with the hordes and masses of Command & Conquer fans and to debut the upcoming expansion pack, Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath. This was our third consecutive year there, and while a lot of the focus is on the games, it's also about the game playing community. So follow me through the magic of video as I explore the German Games Convention, including a look at how passionate and influential the German Command & Conquer community is. Hit up commandandconquer.com for an in-depth look at the German CNC community. Are you Kane's biggest fan?
Yes!
Can I get a peace through power?
Peace through power! That's not permanent.
What's your favorite Command & Conquer game?
3. Tiberian Sun.
How cool is this?
That's all for now. Tune in for more updates next episode. And remember, every day is Community Day. Back to you, Dave and Raj.
Danke, Apoc. Great stuff. And we're still not done yet. We still have more big news from Leipzig coming up.
But now it's time to turn our attention back to the main event and reveal the two commanders who will be facing off in our featured match.
Keeping with our international theme, both our competitors today come from Central Europe. Dackel, aka Pascal Pfefferly, lives in Freiburg, Germany. His opponent Arctic, known in non-CNC circles as Artem Gabriel, is from the Czech Republic.
You saw their highlights earlier in the 5, and very soon they'll be slugging it out on Tournament Coastline. But first, let's get to know these players a little better as we go through the eyes.
Our first commander, Arctic, aka Artem Gabriel, born in Ukraine in 1986, currently resides in the Czech Republic where he plays CNC3 online as skyr.arctic. Artem started playing CNC with Red Alert 2 and says he only picked up Tiberian Wars so he could compete in the World Cyber Games Championships. Offline he plays soccer and practices judo when he's not studying technology at the university in Liberec. He likes to play as Skrin because of their powerful endgame, and his opponents often complain of early seeker harassment. His advice to new players? If you want to be good, you must play actively. Watch replays, study build orders, and don't just camp out at your base.
His opponent, Dackel, aka Pascal Pfefferly, born in 1988 in Freiburg, Germany. He graduates from high school next year and says his dream job might be to pilot for Lufthansa, or, he adds, to work at EALA. Nicknamed Ace Striker by his soccer teammates, Pascal notes that he could play the piano at age 8, a skill that he says makes him a better gamer. Like Artem, he was introduced to the franchise through Red Alert 2. Today he plays as GDI because, quote, I played GDI in the demo and I'm too lazy to learn another faction. A man of my own convictions. His advice to newbies is simple, don't cheat. If you cheat, you've already lost.
An interesting factoid we came across, both Dackel and Arctic independently claim to have created the MCV rush. That's always a bold and exciting play, and I really hope we see it in today's match.
Same here. When we return, though, we take you back to the Games Convention 2007, behind closed doors, at a special press-only event for the new expansion pack. Plus, updates on the World Cyber Games Patch 1.09, and of course, our featured match between two CNC Titans, Dackel and Arctic, when BattleCast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
If you gotta get in the game, you gotta get with the family. Homer, Marge, Lisa, and Bart.
Don't you understand, son? Your whole life has been a video game.
This fall, roll with your homies.
Cool. I start this riot in the name of decency.
Game over, man. Game over.
Dyson's Game. Coming this fall to every platform ever made. Whatever!
Shh. Welcome back. I'm Raj Joshi. Ever since the very first electronic game trade show, there have always been those mysterious rooms where the general public could not enter. You know, where all the cool stuff was shown to the industry elite. Well, that all changes today. BattleCast Primetime's own David Silverman attended the Leipzig Games Convention and took us behind closed doors on the new expansion pack. Here's his sneak peek.
Now, as you can see, typically you're not allowed to film back here, but for BattleCast Primetime fans, let's have a sneak peek.
We're doing a lot of cool things in this expansion pack. We're now introducing our Zone Raider. And the Zone Raider comes with shoulder-mounted anti-air rockets, one of our brand new units. This is the GDI Hammerhead gunship. Now, as a hover tank, the anti-air Scout is a bit faster than your average treaded tank like the Predator or the Mammoth. So I won't be able to take in these hammerheads just yet due to those NOD anti-aircraft turrets. I'm going to need something on the ground to take those out. And to do that, we're going to use another one of our brand new units. This is the GDI Shatterer. And we're very happy to introduce one of our brand new NOD units. These are the Awakened. So this is another one of our brand new units. This is the Spectre Artillery. And the really cool thing about these guys is that they're stealth. This is the NOD Reckoner armored personnel carrier. Once I deploy these bunkers, you're going to notice some really cool fireworks. Can't wait to show you more in the upcoming episodes.
If you'd like to see the entire Behind Closed Doors presentation, it's posted at www.battlecastprimetime.com. Welcome back, David. You seem to have made it back in record time.
Well, you know, the whole time zone thing kind of works in your favor coming back. In any event, we'll return to more expansion pack news along with a very special guest in just a few moments. But first, let's take a look at what else is new in the Command & Conquer universe from the front.
All over the country, CNC players are fighting tooth and nail for a spot at the World Cyber Games US Finals in Orlando, Florida. Among those competing was our very own developer, Gavin EA Ender Simon. BattleCast Primetime was there at the Pacific Regional Finals. Gavin sets his sights on SeekerSpam.exe, aka Sean Teeter. Sean kicks it off with 8 refineries and 4 war factories. In a base creep covering 2/3 of the map, it's Pitbull ready for action. Gavin counters with tripods, taking out an early expansion base, but his victory is short-lived as the Mammoth tanks roll out. Gavin loses the series without a single win. After smashing through Gavin, Sean steamrolled the competition at the US Finals in Orlando to clinch a seat in Seattle for the World Cyber Games Grand Finals. We're pulling for you, Sean. Tune in next episode for more on-the-scene World Cyber Games coverage.
Cheap tactics? Your days are numbered. Later this month, EA will be releasing patch 1.09, which includes a host of balance changes that will significantly alter strategies and tactics. EA's top gun, Gavin Simon, is dialed up via satellite, since he has some time, to provide some more details on the patch. Gavin?
Thanks for rubbing it in, David. The biggest change 1.09 brings is the promised retuning of CNC3's economy in an effort to address several concerns that you, the fans, have expressed. Harvesters will now carry 1,400 credits of green Tiberium rather than 2,400 and 2,800 of blue. However, their cycle, the time it takes them to make one round trip between the field and refinery, has been shortened by 8 seconds to create a smoother income. Overall, it's a 35% reduction to Tiberium gathering. This change is designed to accomplish 3 goals. First, with less money in the game, you'll see less unit spam, and with fewer units in play, there will be more of an emphasis on tactical skill and micromanagement. Second, it makes harassment more viable. With harvesters taking longer to return their investment, taking out 2 or 3 of them early on will really hurt your opponent. Finally, with a lowered income rate and that increased emphasis on harassment, teching up will be a more important strategic decision to make, and teching up too soon will put you in a dangerous position, vulnerable to attack. A taste of just a few of the other changes we're making. Artillery for all 3 factions have had their range increased by 25% to help counter those powerful Tier 3 base defenses and let you crack the toughest of turtles. In addition to a slightly longer cooldown, the Skrin Buzzer Swarm can no longer be summoned directly on top of enemy infantry. Plus, Devastator warships have had their damage increased along with a longer reload time and smaller splash damage to reduce their dominance over masses of enemy infantry. Watch out, don't leave those key groups of structures undefended anymore. Commandos have had their post-C4 duck and cover time reduced to just a second and a half. As for the Brotherhood of Nod, well, all I can say is that while you may not see quite as many glowing green rocket squads anymore, you're definitely going to see a lot more avatars and stealth tanks out there on the battlefield. But that's all the information I can divulge for now. However, for the full list of patch notes, head over to commandandconquer.com. My game ID is EADevEnder. Hope to see you online.
Thanks, Gavin.
On August 31st, 1995, the world was changed forever when Command & Conquer released on the PC. In honor of the 12th year anniversary, EA has been launching a month-long campaign celebrating the 12 years of Command & Conquer. Today, EA continues this celebration by launching cncmovies.com, a site that will contain every FMV cutscene from the original Command & Conquer game through Red Alert 2. Now you can watch Yuri's brain floating in a jar again and again and again and again.
Okay, thanks, Raj. So what happened in the 16 years between Firestorm and CNC3? What was the fate of Cabal? What is the secret to KANES' return? If there's one person who may know the answer to these and other life-altering questions, it's CNC designer Sam Bass. Fortunately, we have him in studio. Sam, welcome to BattleCast Primetime.
Thanks, David.
Are you ready, Sam, to face the firing squad?
Hell yeah.
Sam, before we begin this rapid barrage of questions, let's get to know you a little bit better. I know that you went to UC Santa Barbara to study screenwriting, but since you were 17 years old, you've been involved with games. Why the switch to interactive?
Well, David, I love the movies, as everyone does. In the end, I think that games are an emerging medium where there are all kinds of new and exciting ways to tell stories, ways that we've never really had before.
Now, speaking of telling stories, I know that you co-wrote the story for KANES' Wrath. In a universe that spans, multiple games, how do you start?
Well, with CNC3, we went back to brass tacks. You got Kane, GDI, Nod, Tiberium. And so here we got a chance with KANES' Wrath to delve a little bit deeper into the canon, into Cabal, into the Tacitus, into the post-Firestorm universe that CNC3 we really just didn't deal with.
It's funny you mentioned the Tacitus. On BattleCast Primetime Aftermath, we actually debuted the trailer that was shown at Leipzig with Kane saying the Tacitus is key. Now, there's a lot of people out there who have no idea what the hell the Tacitus is, so please enlighten us. What is the Tacitus, Sam?
Well, the Tacitus is an ancient alien device. It's commonly known as a data matrix orb. It's kind of a lexicon of knowledge and information. But there's also more to it than that.
Now, while you're on the subject, the silver bullet, why is it key?
Can't tell you that, Dave.
Come on, Sam, you're on the firing squad. Give me something.
You get nothing.
What about Cabal? What's the story with him? Is he in the game?
Cabal was only the beginning.
Anton Slavik?
Well, I can confirm that Anton Slavik, who's the former leader of the Black Hand, will be seen in our game, and that the Black Hand themselves will be one of our sub-factions.
Now, you mentioned sub-factions. There's sub-factions, there's epic units, there's a global conquest mode. With all of this, how is the story told?
Well, we're actually trying to do something a little different, David. Rather than doing the conventional linear narrative campaign, you go from mission to mission, go here, blow this up, we're giving you a global view of the world. And you still have objectives, but which way you go, what you build, which parts of the world you go through, that's all up to you as the player. And no matter what, you'll be rewarded with one of our lovely cinematics.
And those cinematics are still live action, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Kane's coming back?
Oh, yeah, he's back.
And who's with him?
I can't tell you.
Sam Bass, you've survived the firing squad. Here's your t-shirt to commemorate this experience.
Wow, well, it was worth it all for the t-shirt, Dave.
When we return, a truly global main event. Our featured match pitting Dackel versus Arctic, Germany versus the Czech Republic, Nod versus Skrin. Who will reign supreme? Plus, our cameras catch up with Kane on the loose at Leipzig, Germany, when BattleCast Primetime continues on Command & Conquer TV.
Prepare for ascension. Behold, my child, the sweep of history. Cabal was only the beginning.
Welcome back to BattleCast Primetime, and as you can see, we've gone code red, and that can only mean one thing. It's BattleCast time.
And time to welcome in our play-by-play team, CNC developers Greg Black and Jason Bender. Gentlemen, good to see you again.
Thanks, guys.
Looking forward to another great match.
Did you see our two commanders' earlier campaigns in the BattleCast 5?
Yeah, they were both really impressive victories.
I also like the fact that they both claim to have invented the MCV rush.
With stones like that, we're going to see some seriously bold maneuvers. Expect the unexpected.
Well, speaking of strategies, let's get your analysis of each commander's playing style.
Well, both commanders claim to have invented the MCV rush, so I'm expecting that we're going to see a lot of MCV rushing. Dackel tends to be a little bit further out there, so I think he's really going to push that MCV rush to the limit.
Yeah, Dackel really likes to mix it up in the early game. He's going to rush one way or the other, whether it's MCV or Saboteurs or what have you. On the other hand, Arctic, if he can hold on and survive that initial rush, he's a really good standard player. He'll come in strong in the late game with a big army. So we should look for that.
Now that we've mapped out our two competitors' playing styles, let's map out the terrain with some battleground reconnaissance.
Tournament Coastline is a 1v1 ranked map with starting points in opposite corners. Each player has a protected expansion field on their half of the map, and across this bridge, easy access to a Tiberium spike. Center stage, there are 2 additional expansion tip fields and a number of garrison buildings. With this many structures to grab, most players charge midfield early on. The opposite side of the map is a mirror image. Garrisonable structures are key in this map, and with so much ground to cover, the battles are rarely short.
All right, we know the players, we know the layout. It's time to put our expertise on the line with our BattleCast Primetime pick of the game. So Jason, starting with you, who's going to emerge victorious?
Well, I think by now Arctic has figured out that Dackel is a pretty wild guy in the beginning of the game. He's probably going to hold out against that rush, and if he does that, I think he's got a great chance of winning, so I'll go with Arctic.
Greg, your take.
You know, I got to give it to Dackel. He's got the stats advantage. He's played far more games than Arctic, and he wins 59% of the time versus 57% for Arctic. It's a small difference, but it could make all the difference.
What about you, Raj? Any favorites?
I gotta say, I think that Arctic is gonna put the freeze on Dackel.
Well, for me, the choice seems clear. I read his bio, so I'm kind of biased. I'm gonna go with Dackel. All right, the windows are closed. The wagers are in. Gentlemen, let's rumble. Today's match, Dackel playing as the Brotherhood of Nod versus Arctic playing as Skrin on Tournament Coastline.
And to start off today's battle, we've got Dackel in the southeast corner, going for an early crane build, building a couple power plants, and what's this? Packing up his MCV.
Yeah, so what do you think he's going to do with that? I mean, there are a few tactics you can use when you've got your MCV packed up and on the offense.
Well, he may, try and go capture an early tib field. We can see Arctic here in the northwest corner is going for an early economy boom. He's got those 2 refineries powered down, probably to get those power plants built without suffering the power down penalty.
And look at this, he's bringing up his drone ship.
And here's Dackel's MCV, and wow, look at that decoy army just cast on it.
I like that, actually. That's pretty cool use of the MCV rush. The decoy might run right past this drone ship. They're going to see each other like boats in the night. So it looks like he's trying to draw the defenses away from Arctic's base so that he can you can use the decoy to get, be they scouts or whatever, away from his real base. And looks like the decoy ran out, it expired.
And there we go. There's a single seeker tank, maybe not the best use in the world of an entire MCV decoy.
Oh, a couple of buzzers and another
right.
seeker, but yeah, still, not much of a distraction. On the other hand, though, he did build a war factory, and he's packing up again. Where's he going with that thing?
Looks like he's getting ready to head north, maybe over to Arctic's base, perhaps? And look at this. Dackel's base just getting annihilated by those seeker tanks. He's losing harvesters right and left.
But here comes the counterattack. So that war factory kicked out a single flame tank, which is all you really need to take out an undefended base.
Oh, these guys are, clearly base screwing each other. They both essentially attacked their starting bases, but their MCVs are out in the field doing God knows what. So this could be anybody's battle right now.
Yeah, he's kind of gone walkabout with that. So now it looks like both of their bases have been significantly damaged, but Arctic is the one that has planted his drone ship and actually actually put a stake in the ground. He's building up a real base, but there's flame tanks. Those flame tanks have diverted over to the secondary base, the new one.
Now, it looks like that flame tank got a nerve center, which is pretty handy, but those 2 flame tanks are going up against seeker tanks, which means they're not really going to have much of a chance to take out the rest of the base.
Yeah, so it looks like they're going to need some reinforcements, and they're going to get them in the form of...
The Nod MCV is now attacking Arctic's base. This is completely unprecedented, not something you see too often, especially considering how few base buildings he's got on the map.
And seeing as how also that's an unarmed MCV. So what exactly is he going to do with an MCV, considering it has no weapon?
Well, he's got a couple of options. He can either plop the thing down, try and build some base defenses, or maybe a barracks. He can sell it, try and get his engineer out of there and take Arctic's drone platform.
So it looks like he's going to go for that saboteur situation where he deploys it, tries to grab the drone platform, and Arctic has one chance here to get out of the way.
And there it goes. He's plopped it down, he sold it, and look at this. The drone platform takes off just in the nick of time, saving Arctic's base.
Wow, that saboteur is just leaping up, just out of reach. Now he's getting torched by the seeker tanks. It looks like that was a failed attack, costing an MCV and those 2 flame tanks, which we already knew were going to die. So what's this here?
So it looks like we're seeing Dackle reverting back to basics. Lots of Scorpion tanks being built, getting ready for an old-fashioned tank rush, but.
Yeah, this looks like a legitimate battle finally after running around all day. They've got some tanks on tanks now, and he's got yet another MCV out here walking around.
What I just can't imagine what he's thinking with all these MCVs. It's crazy.
So it seems like, if he wants to take another TIB field and expand there, that's good. But he's just walking these suckers around. He's never really settling in, and that's getting him behind in the arms race here.
And we're seeing that he's actually starting to build some forces now, but all he's building is Scorpion tanks, and that's just going to leave him so vulnerable to counterattack by disintegrators.
Yeah, that's true, and an army of this size is actually going to come in and do some real damage to him if he's not careful. These disintegrators are already moving around. So here's the problem, right? Arctic has guys all over the map. He's got a big force. He's able to go to all the Tiberium fields at once and see where Dackle's expanded. And now he's got upgraded Devourers and a huge group of them. And so he's way ahead with tanks.
This is a huge problem for Dackle. I think he's just split his bases a little too thin across the map, and he doesn't have a concentrated enough force at any one base to really hold off this onslaught.
But he does have an air tower, and he has a couple of MCVs walking around. We know he
still got the crane going.
But look at his economy. He's got 1 refinery there with 3 harvesters. He needs more economy to catch up with the tanks, and now he's so far behind. Unless he just plants all those MCVs right now, gets his conduits cranking out refineries, he's going to be in bad shape.
Yeah, and you can see Dackle there has hidden his MCV up in the corner. Somehow Arctic missed it and is now pulling his forces back.
So his best bet would have been to deploy there and then take that base, since he knows Arctic's not going to come back and check it out, since he thinks it's clear, while his real base, his primary base, is getting wiped out.
Yeah, there's really nothing here, and oh my God, Jason, another MCV.
Hey, wait, this one's cloaked.
That's true. This could turn the tide of the battle. This cloaked MCV with no weapons, and look at this. Dackle's main base just falling to these Devourer tanks. This is not pretty.
He's had those tanks for a while, so this cloaked MCV is desperately trying to get away while he watches his opponent build air structures.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that when Arctic went to place that air structure, he probably noticed that he couldn't place it and figured out that there was a stealth unit down there.
Yeah, which is going to be a cue for his massive army, which is now on a search and destroy mission to wipe out whatever it can find.
Yeah, this is bad news for Dackle all around. We've got a Skrin Air Force coming in to finish off one of the MCVs. The entire ground forces of the Skrin taking out the northern MCV, like, and I'm guessing this is going to be a good game right now.
Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, well played by Arctic. Interesting tactics, Dackle.
Wow, looks like Dackle got tackled.
That's right, and my boy came through. Nice job, Arctic.
Now it's time once more to break down the match, beginning with an in-depth analysis of the game stats, which for those following at home is a function of Command & Conquer 3 all players can enjoy. Gentlemen, what did you see?
Let's start, as we always do, by taking a look at the unit stats page. As you can see, throughout the game, Arctic just pulls ahead of Dackle in total unit production. And at about the 7 to 8 minute mark, there's a huge battle between Dackle and Arctic. Dackle loses nearly all his forces, but Arctic, he hardly loses anything. You can see that tiny little blip there in his graph. Didn't mean a damn thing, and over the course of the game, Arctic just pulled away and completely beat Dackle.
So let's take a look at how that happened. Let's flip over to the resources section. If you look at the resources, you can see that Arctic had triple Dackle's resources. He had 14,000 against Dackle's 4,000. Another interesting stat to note is that Dackle only created 39 units while he lost 65. That means that almost half his fighting force was created from structures that he sold. It's a very risky way to play the game, but it's a very bold strategy.
So guys, what do you think the key turning point was in this match?
I think the turning point of the match was when Dackel, in an incredibly bold move, went all in with his MCV, sent it straight into Arctic space, plopped it down, sold it, and then used the Saboteur to try and take the drone platform. If he had managed to do that, he might have won the game right there.
So what would you pick as our play of the match?
Well, the play of the match, I would have to say, goes to Arctic for seeing this coming. Only a pro is going to notice that Saboteur coming right towards his drone platform. He sees it coming, takes off, gets out of the way, comes back strong with a big army, and wipes Dackel off the map.
And there you have it. The play of the match goes to Arctic for recognizing Dackel's bold Saboteur strategy and getting the heck out of there.
All right, gentlemen, here's a new question to test your expertise. As you know, we now have our two commanders play a series of 5 matches before choosing the most entertaining to showcase. Can you tell from seeing this one match which commander won the entire 5-game series?
I'm going to have to say Dackel is going to win in 3 out of 5. He has the stats advantage, he's played more games, he's won more games, and even though he got beat badly, I think he's going to come back in a big way.
Well, I'd have to say that Dackel's pretty inconsistent, and Arctic has got to know this. So, as a consistent player, more classic, I would give it to Arctic, but only in 3 out of 5. Dackel does have great stats, and is a pretty wild guy.
The answer is Dackel, who actually won 4 out of the 5 matches. It just happened that the one match he lost was a one that we decided was best to showcase. So congrats to Arctic for winning the match, and definitely to Dackel for taking the series.
I told you, Jason.
Stats don't lie, and neither does Greg.
And as always, thanks to Jason Bender and Greg Black for their excellent analysis. We'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Well, that brings us to the end of another show. But have no fear, we're already hard at work on the next one, which will include on-the-scene coverage of the World Cyber Games grand finale and a behind-the-scenes look at the making of the expansion pack cinematics. As a special sneak peek for BattleCast Primetime viewers, go to this website now, www.commandandconquer.com/KWimage.
And keep an eye out for BattleCast Primetime Aftermath, a new show available to help keep you up to date on all the latest CNC news until we return. And also keep an eye out for Command School, offering tips and strategies to all levels of players. Both of these shows will be available off our website, www.commandandconquer.com.
Now, as promised, before we go, we head back to Germany for exclusive footage of Kane on the loose at the Games Convention.
That's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Life-size pictures of me. Everyone should get one. I want one. Yeah, we will get you one. Thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, Leipzig.
Thanks again for watching.
And don't forget to BattleCast your next match for a shot to be featured here on BattleCast Primetime. For Raj Joshi, I'm David Silverman, and we'll see you on the battlefield.
I have Tiger Raj. Rock and roll, Dave.